I would say that from the minute I found out I had Frankie, my life completely turned upside down. You don't realize how much you already have your life pre-planned, and then all of a sudden you have a child. You know you're going to have a child and that's going to be change enough, and then you find out your child is disabled, and at that point you don't really know what that's going to look like.
Nobody, not even me, not my mom, not my dad, we don't know what it's like to be Frankie unless you walk a mile in their shoes, which is never going to happen because we're not all of a sudden going to become disabled or however Frankie is. And he has so many obstacles every day that we take for granted.
Play the hand you're dealt, and so once we had Frankie, we just did everything we could to help him achieve what he was capable of doing.
Nobody doesn't want to hang out with you at all.
Nobody wants to hang out with you because you have Down syndrome?
Yeah.
That's not true, we hang out.
Nobody. But I have my sister right here, and she's great to have because they hang out with me sometimes.
Frankie has a really good sense of humor. He can be very quick-witted, and he's very good at technology. He's just a lot of fun. He's a fun guy. He's curious, and he wants to explore all parts of life. You know, he wants to try all things, and so we try to give him as many opportunities to do that as we can.
He likes playing on the computer. He likes dancing. He likes snow skiing, scuba diving and snorkeling. He likes surfing. He's just pretty much anything that has you on the go and run around and interact with other people.
Do you like to dance?
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
Now he's coming to rat you out, right?
I like to study at home.
I'm not talking about what you like to
That's my favorite
do.
thing.
Listen, I'm not talking about what you like to do. I'm talking about what do you really like about you as a person? What do you think are your best characteristics?
Early on, Frankie had a lot of behavior issues, but I think now looking back, most of those were a result of his ability to communicate. When you can't communicate, you get very frustrated. So that was the first challenge. But then ultimately, when we got him in school, we found that there was a system in place that didn't want to educate him and completely underestimated his potential. And so my challenge became finding what would work and how to access that.
My mom's basically spent the past 20 years of her life making sure that Frankie can get an education so the day that they're not around anymore, he can live a life without being told what to do and living in a group home.
They kept sending him home and telling me I had to keep him home until he could be appropriate at school. Yet the more we kept him home, the more difficult it was for him to function at school. And they pin him down. You know, one holds an arm, another one holds an arm, another one holds a leg, and so on. And they would pin him to the ground, which, as you can imagine, would make him even more frustrated. The school called me one day and said, "Mrs. Hudson, you need to come get him again." And I said, "Oh, what now?" And they said, "Well, we have him in a 5-point restraint." And I said, "Well, what did he do?" And they said, "Well, he insisted on eating his dessert first." And then I realized that the people at the school had lost their perspective completely. The final straw for me was we went to pick him up, and he was in a back room, and he was rocking, sitting on the floor rocking, and he had no shirt, no shoes, and no socks on. And he was just sent in the back room, obviously, to sit there during class because the teacher didn't want to look at him, I guess. I don't know. So I went to the principal, and the principal wouldn't do anything. I said, can you move him to another classroom or something? And they refused. So I went to the school district personnel and asked them to intervene and make a change, and they refused. So when I had reached an impasse with the school district, I filed a complaint with the federal and state government and alleged discrimination based on disability, and they came down and investigated and found that in fact they had violated his civil and I think human rights, forced him to teach him to write, and he did so well that they used him as an example at national conferences because his handwriting had improved so much.
It's really hard to find someone that would take care of him genuinely, so we have to prepare Frankie to like live an independent life.
Frankie works at our family company that makes solar water pasteurizers for people in third world countries, and he manufactures these himself and ships them to people in about 30 countries around the world. I'm 60 years old, my wife is in her 50s, and we realize that the day will come when Frankie has to be able to live on his own. And so when he turned 18, he was wanted to buy a house, and so we helped him buy a house. And here recently, he's moved into that house and he's living there with a roommate and having a great time.
It's a big slap in the face because he's proven everyone wrong.
I went on the bus. I went with all the kids. That's all I want to do, is to make friends.
Frankie, would you rather be born with or without Down syndrome?
Without. Those Down syndrome kids, they will have a hard time of learning. They'll say, you'll never learn. But I did. I fought in different schools. So now I did learn.
For the first time, I'm looking in your eyes. For the first time, I'm seeing who you are. I can't believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. Now I understand why I love you. For the first time, I am looking in your eyes. For the first time, I'm seeing who you are. I can't believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. Now I understand what love is. Love is. For the first time.